Hello everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to another live session here at Design Cuts. And we are here with the awesome Snooze one today, which I'm really excited about. Anyone who follows his amazing lettering content on Instagram, as I of course do, will be excited to see him in action and excited to see him take his new 3D lettering pack around the block, because I've been having a good ogle of that as well, and it's pretty awesome. How are you doing?
Yeah, hey, I'm doing good. Thanks so much for the lovely introduction.
That's no worries at all. What are you going to be showing us today?
Yeah, the idea was to show you a little bit around in my 3D pack and show you a little bit my own process and share some tips and tricks with it. And yeah, how you can essentially spice up your lettering with it.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think it would be a good start if I give you a little overview on the pack and to show you a little bit around first.
Cool.
I think I'll share my little manual that I wrote. It kind of summarize it all. So yeah, let me dive right in. First of all, these two kinds of brushes. Some of them, as you can see, have this 3D effect that overlay with each stroke, and some brushes keep this consistent cohesive kind of look and let these strokes blend into each other. So these are the two kinds of brushes that I made. Just as a important information from the start. And yeah, we got a couple of categories: the round 3D, the chisel 3D, the fade, and the chunky ones. I like to group my brushes into these different categories, mainly based on the shape of the tips, so you have a good overview on which brushes you are working with. Okay, the next couple of pages are just going through the individual categories, but one thing I wanted to point out in the beginning is the topic about the color, because it's a little bit special with these brushes. Let me skip to the part. Yes, here we go. As you can see in this little graphic down here, we have dual brushes, so two brushes that are overlaying each other. Overlaying each other, creating this 3D kind of effect. And you can control both layers with the color menu. It's a little bit tricky, but once you get a hang of it, it's actually it's easy to use if you understand the basics.
I'd say it looks super simple to use.
Yes, I think I just zoom in on the graphics rather on the text. So yeah, we have the color menu. This will open up in the very right top corner in the Procreate menu, and you have this very top right color circle, and this color will control the color of this bottom layer of the brush. So essentially the shades or the base color, how I called it. And the other one is this second menu you have inside the color menu, and you have two fields there, but it's not important which one of these colors you have down there, just the other color that you can't see in the top color. So for example, here, this is the white for the top color, for the top layer of the brush that controls the highlights. Might be a bit confusing my explanation here, but I will show you in Procreate right away, just to give you a quick overview on how these brushes are built and how these two colors overlay each other.
Cool.
All right. Okay, jumping right back in. So to show you this in action, this is the color menu. And for example, I want to have, let's say, a white brush with a white 3D like good looking 3D like brush. I want to select a white first. Just pick a white right here and maybe double tap to get a 100% white. Then I go on this color menu to the next field. In my case, this beige looking kind of color, and select the black one. Now you can see the top right color circle also changes to black. If I change the color, it also changes to black. But if I tap on the white color, it changes to white. And this is because the last color I select will be displayed in the top right color circle. And this top right color circle will control the bottom layer of our brush. So let's pick the black again, and I just make a stroke to give you finally example. We have this kind of
cool
3D looking shape. And for example, if I would have picked the white color last, we would have the white color on the bottom layer, so the brush looks inverted, or like the light is coming from behind. Not really realistic for this kind of brush. But yeah, I think if you play around with a bit with yourself, this will make more sense than me trying to explain this.
For sure, it looks like fun to play with.
Yeah, and yeah, the fun thing is you can pretty much you can choose any color combination. But I would recommend, if you want to go for a more realistic look, to always choose a darker color for the base color and a lighter color for the top color. So for example, let's choose maybe a red and a yellow, and make the red a little bit darker so the yellow really stands out on the top. So to do this, I would pick the red color. Yeah, this is a good looking red. And tap on the left field, on the other field, and choose the yellow color. Yeah, maybe a little bit orange. That's a good one. And now, because I want to have the red as a bottom layer, I have to pick or tap the red color again to make it appear on the top right color circle. You can see how it switches
Jill in
to
chat is already saying this is the most amazing brush pack ever. We're only just getting into the session. Thanks, Jill.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so we picked red the last, so red appears in the top right color circle, and now we have this beautiful kind of looking yellow and black, yellow and red 3D brush with red as a base color and yellow as the top color. Okay, I hope this was a good, not so much confusing introduction into this. I already showed the manual. You have a more detailed explanation if you need any step-by-step guides on this as well.
I think that was really good. There's lots of people saying that they've never seen both colors being used like this before with brushes, and I think it's pretty awesome. Which is cool.
Okay. Are there any questions about the colors so far?
No questions so far. I don't think. If anyone's got any, you can pop them in the ask a question at the bottom, and I'll put them over.
All right. Yeah. Then I would just jump right into the artwork I had planned and take you a bit through my process and share some tips through the process.
Awesome.
All right. So yeah, I'm working on I think it's an A4 scaled artwork, 300 dpi. That's kind of my usual go-to size in Procreate. Gives me the option to maybe print it afterwards with this 300 dpi and this A4 scale. All right. What I like to do with the 3D brushes is to work with the background. I think just a plain color would work for this one. I have the colors actually saved on the bottom here in this color palette. For the background, I want a kind of red, pinkish color. Let me just drop this right in. All right. And I like to work with a lot of layers. So for each words I want to write, I want to create a new layer. So I call this my background layer. I could rename this, but let's be honest, I don't name my layers. So yeah, just create a new layer. Actually, quick questions. Should I do this a bit slowly so people can actually follow, or not or yeah, a bit more rush?
I just do it as an easy pace. If anyone is struggling to keep up, please do just stay in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on the chat anyway, or just flag it up and we can slow up or speed down, but just work at an easy pace. I think that's all cool. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, we got the background layer and the first layer, and for our lettering, I want to work with the chisel brushes, and actually my favorite one from the pack, the chisel shadow blends. This is one of the blend brushes that I was briefly explaining earlier, so I can show you real quick the brush strokes. Let me go to black. Blending into each other, creating this cohesive kind of 3D effect. Okay, so yeah, the chisel shadow blend is my go-to one for this piece. And to have a good contrast on this pinkish red kind of background, I want to work with a turquoise, this color here, to give it a really strong contrast on the red background. And for this brush, I want to have this turquoise color as the top color and the black for the base color. Black for the base color in this case also works great because we have a shadow, and the shadow looks the best if it's black, or in this case maybe a darker red tone, so we really get this dark shadow. So let me pick this red color and make this a black, and make sure black is on the top right color circle. Go back and let me show you the color. It should look like something like this. So we have this really bright turquoise and this black color underneath, creating this 3D effect on this red background. All right, so far so good for the preparation. I want to write. Let me check what I actually wanted to write. I'm always forgetting what I wanted to write. Every time I started to write, what I wanted to write. Okay.
No worries. It's always the way when lots of people are watching, isn't it? It's easy if they're up.
Yeah. So I want to write "meant for bigger things." Meant for bigger things. Pretty thought one, short one. I will make it 3 big rows and 1 short one for the form. So what I like to, maybe I'll give you a quick, really quick dive into composition just to show you what I will do, because I'm mainly doing this in my mind, but might be helpful to kind of quickly sketch this out. We have these 4 words. Meant for bigger, and then
Nita in the chat is saying this is a must-buy brush pack for everything lettering artist, including me. I have to agree, it's very cool indeed.
I appreciate the support. All right, we have these 4 words, and what I want to do is to center them vertically. Yeah, and I will mark the middle of these words. You can draw a box around them. I usually just make this in my mind, or just eyeball it. So we have middle right here, middle here, and the middle there. And I want to align these on a vertical axis. Okay, so as I said, I want to make the 4 a little bit smaller, because the 4 is more of a fill word, and the more important words are here meant, bigger, and things. So yeah, I want to have 3 bigger rows. Let me quickly sketch these in. Right. Leave a little gap for the 4. Yeah, something like this, and the last one. So yeah, really rough. Well, that's just kind of the layouts I'm working with. Let me move this a little bit to the center. All right. Okay, actually, I'll leave this in. I will just turn the opacity a little bit down. Yeah, something like this. And again, create a new layer for the lettering. All right, actually, now we are done with the preparation. Okay.
I love seeing your work in progress. It's really cool.
All right, let's make sure we have the right color, the turquoise and the black. Black one is in the top right color circle, so it's a base color. And for the style, I thought I might go for this kind of sign painter style, a bit more improvised, but yeah, in this direction. Yeah, let me just dive right in. So, upsala, it's the wrong brush. Let me choose the chisel shadow blend again. There it is. I think we need a smaller size.
Do you use kind of grid builder tools for your compositions, or do you often just try to draw your own grids and go with that as you go?
Oh no, yeah, I do use grid builder. Grid builder tools and grids like this, but I thought it would be quicker just sketching it out right here. All right. No, I think we need a little bit bigger. I think this one is this one is good size.
I'm beginning to think there's no one on the planet that doesn't have a copy of Grid Builder.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely changed the game with this one.
For sure.
All right. One thing that might be good to mention: the brushes are dynamic from the position of your Apple Pencil, so they will rotate depending on in which angle you hold your Apple Pencil. So, for example, if I hold it really horizontal, I get this direction. You can see the perspective changes a little bit from the other stroke I just made. And if I change my angle of the pencil again, it will change as well. So I would recommend keeping a consistent angle of your Apple Pencil in order to keep a consistent 3D effect. But I made it dynamic, so you have more flexibility with the 3D effect, and you can play around with yourself. All right. So far, so good from this little X-course. Let's dive back in.
Need to say it's currently looking like French fries if we change the color.
Yes.
They're looking like some kind of sweet version of French fries that my daughter would eat and then bounce off the walls for the next few hours.
I see what he did there. I like them smaller. No. So I'm changing the angle of the brush pen just from my Apple Pencil just a little bit, so maybe you can see some perspective changing, but it's just a little bit to get those strokes right. Something like this. Yes. Okay. Going for the T. Now it needs to be a bit bigger. Okay. Been good so far. And I'm actually going to write the second word, the for, after I wrote the meant bigger and things, to have this for on top of these words. So I'm moving on with the bigger, and for this I create a new layer, so I have more control over lettering afterwards. I think I went a little bit too big right here. Let me move this B a little bit to the left. Okay.
You're making it look
It's a
very
bit-
easy, I have to say. The lettering, that is.
I have to say the big just got a little bit too big in comparison to the mend. Let me redo the mend. For this, I just turn down the opacity on this layer, create a new one out above it, and just right over it and make it a little bit more cohesive looking with the bigger one. Okay. I think I retouched this stroke. Make it a little bit longer. Something like this. And actually turn scale this size a little bit up and stroke from the T. Yeah, I'm kind of fine with this. All right. And now I can delete the other one. And yeah, looks good so far. Let us move on to the things.
Marie was just wondering how long it took you to make the brush pack, as they're so detailed and diverse.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So I think I stumbled across this effect one evening when I was working on a couple new brushes, and after I stumbled over this more by accident, I really just spent the whole next week playing around with this different 3D effects. So I think actually most of the main part of the pack was actually done in this 1 week. But I spent the last, I think, 3 or 4 months, or the next 3 or 4 months, just really deep diving into all the details and exploring a bit more. Just trying to explore more of this effect to really get the most out of these brushes.
Cool.
So something about 3-4 months. But I think the main part all happened in 1 week.
Burst of creativity.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking of new ideas, and I was thinking, "Damn, this thing just opens up a whole new world." And it was crazy. I love this. If you stumble across a new idea and you have this burst of new ideas, it's really amazing.
So cool.
Mhm. All right. I'm still not very that much satisfied with the first word. Kind of looks a bit off. Actually, let me do this again. Something is off with it. I think I did my last live stream. I did one last week or so, but the last one before this, I think it was a year ago. So I'm just getting back into the game.
Yeah, fair play. I've been on both sides, and it's definitely easier on this side than it is your side.
Okay, it's been good. Kind of don't like the A. Maybe try something different. I'm a bit bigger. Okay. Yeah, and I shouldn't get hung up on details like this. I have a lot more to show you than this basic lettering.
It's hard not to, though, right? We're all designers here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's finish the T. Bigger.
It's like saying to someone, "Oh, I'll just have a quick look at that design work for you." Right, quick look.
The classic.
Yeah.
Okay. Delete the other one. Yeah, kind of looks better. All right. Now for the last word, the before, I want to have this in a white color, so it stands out a little bit more and on top of these other layers. So for this, I create a new layer. Keeps the same brush, but change this turquoise to white, and tap on the black again to make it the base color. And I want to have this for kind of in the middle of between those lines. Really go down with the size. I think this one is a good one. Oh no, bigger. Yes.
JR says that just watching you work is a treat, which is nice.
Thank you so much. All right. I really like to stack those different layers of brushes, because then you get a really crazy 3D effect, especially with these smooth shadows. All right, let me actually go back to the turquoise. Yes, and make 2 little bars on the left and right to fill this kind of empty space there. I think actually you can make it pretty big. Something like this. Maybe move the vent up a little bit to make it a bit more legible. Yeah, something like this, I guess, yeah. And now I want to go back to the white. And one thing I like to do is to make a little bar on the bottom and on the top, to kind of frame it and to help out this composition. I generally try to aim for oval kind of shapes. So yeah, something like this. And for this, I want to achieve this shape. I make a stroke right here and one on the top, and it's done.
Nice. Really helps focus the eye, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool.
All right, that's for the first basic layer, I'd say. And now I want to show you a little bit, so a couple of tricks to make this 3D effect a bit stronger. And something that I already addressed is to stack stack these brushes to get a deeper perspective and a deeper 3D effect. I'm actually going to choose a different brush for this background. So I'm making all the next strokes behind this lettering, so it looks like it was built on top of them. So I'm actually going to choose the Chisel 3D Soft. It has a similar 3D effect with a similar shadow, but it's not as deep or as tall, I don't know how you want to call this, as the other chisel brush I just used. All right, so I want to create a new layer underneath all these letterings I made. So right here. And what I want to do is to make the strokes in the background a black color, a really dark color. And it's a really fun thing, interesting thing you can do with these brushes when you pick a black color. Of course, if you pick both 100%, you get a black stroke. It doesn't do that much. But there's a little trick. If you pick a kind of gray color, a bit lighter black, something like this, and tap on the black again to make it the base color, you can get a gray strokes. And depending on how dark your gray is, it looks like it's black, but still a more I don't know how you call it in English, but this underseat kind of gray, so a bit more. I think it's a good deal to get a black 3D effect, and we're going to use this to write underneath the lettering to create to make it look like it's stacked up. All right. I think a bit smaller, something like this. Yes. I'm just going to mimic the movement and the letters I already have written. So I say it so it looks like these are the same layers that are just laying on top of each other. And you can see it already looks like it's laying on top of this black layer. Actually, let's move this a bit to the right. Yes. So we have this nice shadow on the black layer.
Cool.
And I'm now going to do this
as well, isn't it? It's nice.
That you like the effect.
Yeah, I like the way you've got less of it on the left, obviously, so it looks like you've got perspective with the from the viewpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think actually if you are really if you're really I'm missing the word. It's not so important. All right. I now do this for all the letters. So starting with the E, I just continue to write these letters. And one quick tip: this brush does not have this blend feature. I only did it for a couple of brushes because I don't want to seem to pack too crowded and to make too much brushes, or not too much brushes, but to keep the focus on the important ones. And so this one has no blend feature. So you either have to make it in one stroke, or you're creating the strokes on top of each other, which also looks cool. But I think actually for this one, it doesn't actually matter if the stroke is perfect, and I can do it in one stroke just to get a cohesive look and shape into the background. So I'm keeping the pressure on the epipens and just kind of filling out these shapes in the background. Something like this. I mean, it doesn't have to look perfect, it's just the background, but you get the idea for the effect that I want to go for. Here's something like this, maybe a bit to the left. Okay. I think for the 4, I'm just going to make a couple of strokes right here. Okay.
Nita's just saying how much easier this has made 3D lettering and how much less time consuming. Yeah, I remember seeing sessions like this where people have actually been building this up and then drawing the lines and joining it up, and this is just like very cool.
I mean, yeah, this pack is really a bit more about fun and the quick and easy way to write it. But of course, I don't want to say that it replaces the traditional way. No. It's just a fun tool to play around with, I'd say.
I think for lots of sort of less powered up lettering artists, as you could say, that it's a nice introduction to it, a quick introduction to being able to do this kind of lettering without it taking a long time.
For sure. I think you actually can maybe learn something from it, seeing this perspective, and see how your lettering would look in 3D, and maybe transfer it into your own lettering or something like that.
For sure.
As well. I'm actually working on a big update for this pack, so I'm really interested in hearing some feedback or something that is missing or something that maybe can be improved or something like this. So or maybe some new ideas for 3D effects. I have a couple of new ideas already, but I'm working on an update right now. And if you have some spontaneous ideas or something that pops up in how do you say, that comes up along the process, let me know, and I'm gladly to see if I can find a way to squeeze it into this update.
What's the best way to contact you? Instagram?
So yeah, Instagram or email. But yeah, I see when you write me on Instagram.
Cool. And do check out Snoozegram, Snooze One's Instagram. Everyone, it's very cool. There's some really beautiful compositions on there.
Appreciate the shout out. All right, I think the layer is done. Let me do stroke right here for the baseline, a bit offset, and one for the top, something like this. And I think, yeah. So far for the one layer, and one little detail I like to do is to add a more lighter dark. So yeah, a bit more lighter gray in the background. So I scale up this gray. I think something like this. Maybe a little bit lighter. Pick the dark again to make the bottom, the base color. Go down with the size. And now I like to do just a couple rough lines to give it a bit more dynamic and a bit more depth again. So something like, oopsala. I forgot I need to add a layer above the black one. Here we go. Now I can write underneath this. I think we actually can go a little bit lighter. Something like this. Yes, it's doing good. So yeah, just a couple rough lines to give it a bit more dynamic. Maybe something like this. I don't really think about this that much. Just pretty intuitive. Something like this, and bottom here, something like this. So we got this really nice stacked up lettering.
That'd be really cool if you're doing a mug or a T-shirt or a poster, or there's just loads of applications for this, really.
Yes.
You know.
Well, it would be a nice effect for a T-shirt there. Yeah.
I did a mug for someone at Christmas, and this would have been perfect for that.
I think I was a little bit too late with my release then.
Do a shifty update just before next Christmas. Time it. Perfect for.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay, so I think we actually got most of our layers. There's just a little one of the last details I like to add is a little speech bubble, and this really comes nice with these 3D brushes. And for this, I want to pick a white again, pick the black again for the base color, create a new layer above all my letterings, like here, and I want to create the speech bubble on this side. So I'm going to choose bigger size, but I actually wanted to do it with the previous brush. So we go back to the chisel shadow blend right here. Make it a bit smaller, make it a bit bigger, something like this. And now I draw a little speech bubble. Oh, yeah, I think it's called speech bubble, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Something like this, and this is the blend brush again, so I can pick up my Apple Pencil and go back in and keep the same 3D effect. Okay, this up and so like this. It's a bit big. Need it smaller. How does that look? I think a bit more to the top. Actually, I don't want it to cover most of the layering. Kind of find a good deal. Maybe a bit smaller. I think that's a good deal. And now again, I want to create a black outline or black layer underneath this speech bubble. So I go back into the colors and pick this darker gray again. Pick on the black, tap on the black again to make it the base color, and now go back into the layering and create a layer underneath it, just to make it look like it's actually the shadow, so a bit offset. I think something like this looks good. Okay, I forgot to make a layer underneath it. I wanted to move it, so let's do it again. Okay, something like this. And now for the fun part, I want to write in the speech bubble, and I think for the phrase "meant for bigger things," I thought "never settle" is a nice little extra quote that goes along with the main phrase very well. And for this, we keep the same brush. Turn on the size a little bit, and
Nishrin says the composition is looking amazing.
Thanks so much. But actually, it's really just standard words and with a couple of bars around, and that's actually all it is. Right, yeah, create a new layer above it and write in it. So let me zoom out a little bit. And the cool effect we get, like the shadow again on this text, is also kind of popping out of this speech bubble. Upsala.
Oh,
my bad. Settle. I think I just double it on the left. Something like this doesn't look perfect, just a little detail, but I'm trying to get it perfect. I like the T's. That's a tough one. Makes the brush a bit smaller.
Kristen says loves the way he sees it going, doing over it again and again and again, because you just want to get it right.
Yes. I think, okay. Yeah, it looks good to me. I hope I didn't make a typo about it. Yes. Okay. So for the very last detail that I want to make for this piece is a couple of fine lines. Something I like to do just to give this piece a bit more dynamic and a bit more style, if you like to say it like that. So I create a new layer above everything. Go to the extra brushes. I use these brushes for details. You can see we have two brushes that are more like fineliner brushes for those fine lines. One shadow brush to add extra shadows, a halftone pattern. This is a pattern inspired by the Blender from the program Blender and the render interface that pops up. Just a little hint for this 3D background and this wall brush for a wall background. Okay, but we are going to work with the sharp brush, this one right here, to add a couple of rough lines around the lettering to give it a bit more dynamic. And I want to start with the white one, and then going to pick my color picker right here and go to this white spot here to get this exact color, and just add a couple of rough lines around it, something like this to give it a bit more style. Again, on the bottom one, something like this. Just really cover, not a lot of details, just a little bit. And I do the same for the turquoise details. Pick the color and go right here in and do some little details.
Nice.
By the way,
really
how we are
adds some
doing?
really nice dynamic movement, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to play around a bit with the outline like this, and also it gives you the chance to fill up some of the empty spaces in your composition. So maybe like this spot right here. Actually, let me do a white detail, something like this. By the way, how we are doing on the time? I kind of lost the overview.
We're good. You're just about to time, really. We started a little bit late, didn't we? I'm sure. If you're happy to keep going, I'm sure everyone's happy to watch. I certainly am.
Okay, cool. All right, just a couple less details, something like this.
I think we just had one question come in.
Yeah.
Because I understand how you set the dual colors. Can you show where in the brush settings you would see that a particular brush is actually using both colors? That's from Diane.
Could you repeat this question?
So is it possible to see which brush is currently using two colors rather than one color in the settings? Do you see that visually in Procreate?
I'm thinking about how to explain this. So let me go into the setting right here. You have these two brushes. This is the dual brush, and for brushes with just one brush, let me pick one. For example, this one, you don't have this menu, but you cannot see if they are using two colors right from this menu right here. You actually have to go into the settings and maybe check the color dynamics right here and see what they have done. But of course, you see it when you're actually using it.
Sure.
I don't know if this explains the questions or if I understood it correctly.
Hopefully that's is that okay, Diane? Diane says thanks, Matt. So hopefully that's okay.
Oh, perfect.
Cool.
All right. So actually, let me turn off the sketch layer that we did for the very first step. Let me just delete it. We don't need it anymore. I think for the last detail, zoom out a little bit. Sorry, I cannot speak anymore. A little bit. I just want to make a few shapes in the background to kind of fill the space, but not to make it look too crowded. Just to fill a bit of this space, this negative space. But I don't know, like, I don't want to take it all away. So I take my color picker tool on this left side.
A bit like that. We've got birds nesting in my roof currently. It's springtime, right? So the birds are like cheep, 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 cheep every morning at 5 a.m. and I'm like,
Oh man, yeah, I actually got one bird right from my window. It always comes when I'm working, and it's always looking in my room.
Cool.
All right, let me pick the color. Yes, make it a bit darker. Maybe something like this, and pick this Schlummer pencil. Actually, this maybe a quick how do you say? It's a little Easter egg. I don't know. The Schlummer pencil is actually it's a translation from the German Snooze brush. It's called Schlummer pencil.
I see. Cool.
So yeah, for the background, going to the very bottom of our layers, create a new one. scale up the size and actually a bit too dark, a little bit lighter. Actually, just let me change the color menu to classic, and now we can actually control the darkness, or the, what do you say, the light. They have the darkness of the brush, the color. Right, that should one. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm just going to draw on some, I don't know, some random shapes to fill up a bit of a space behind the lettering. I usually go with this wriggle kind of line and some rectangles, circles, something like this. So, yeah. All right.
Really cool.
I think that's actually it.
Really cool. I love the way the random shapes are actually kind of blocking your eye from moving out of the composition as well. Nice.
Yeah, that's a nice little touch.
Yeah, really awesome. Thanks ever so much. I'm sure everyone give up their love for Snooze 1 in the comments, but that was just absolutely awesome. And you do make it look extremely easy. And I'm sure if I tried to do this, it really wouldn't be. so thank you ever so much. That's really cool. Oh, do we have another question coming, or is that one that I've already got? No, sorry, it's just somebody replying to me. That's all cool. Thanks ever so much for your time. And everyone, do check out Snooze 1's pack. It's at the bottom if you haven't got it already, although it sounds like in the chat that loads of people have already got this pack and they're already absolutely loving it. Do go to the Design Cuts Community Hub and share your work with this pack so that everyone else in the community can enjoy it and see what an awesome product it is, and so that they can enjoy using it too. Click on the DC logo at the top if you haven't already subscribed, and we will keep you abreast of any more really cool sessions coming up. But thank you so much. That was a really awesome session, and yeah, I loved it. Really cool to see you work. And everyone, do go check out Snooze 1's Instagram, because there's loads more seriously cool work there. Go and check it out. Yeah, and do give him some feedback on the pack as well, because that would be super useful for his update.
Yeah, thanks so much for the nice words. Yeah, it was really fun to work on it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And yeah, go have a cup of tea and some biscuits.